aircraft carriers have ruled the seas like moving fortresses, acting as clear signs of American power and global influence. These huge floating airbases are made to scare enemies, control airspace, and show strength. But now, in the new era of hypersonic weapons, the hunter might be turning into the hunted. Welcome back to Missile Lemons, where we explore the future of war, global strategy, and breakthrough military from all around the world. Today's episode isn't about the mighty, it's about what might destroy, what could break through their defenses, cause destruction, and become their worst nightmare. That threat has two names, the PL-17 and the PAL-21. These are China's new air-launched hypersonic missiles. They move faster than Mach 5, flying through defense like shadows and completely changing how naval battles are viewed, because now a missile might be enough to take down 13 billion Australian dollars American supercarrier, and there might be no way to stop it. Since World War II, carriers have been at the heart of American sea power. The massive Nimitz-class and the newer Ford-class carriers sail the oceans with dozens of jets and thousands of sailors aboard. These carriers are always surrounded by entire fleets built to guard them. But there's a problem. These ships were made for a time when threats moved slower, when radar systems could easily detect incoming missiles, and when defensive systems had enough time to react. That time is over. The technology has changed. Hypersonic missiles destroyed that safety window. They don't follow the old rules, they rewrite them. Let's look at the PL-17 and PL-21. These missiles aren't just faster, they're smarter and more deadly. They combine insane speed with AI support flight controls that allow them to dodge defenses mid-air. The PL-17 is often called a carrier killer. It's an air-to-air missile that can travel at Mach 6 and strike targets over 400 km away. While it's mainly meant to take down important assets like AWACS and refueling planes, its precision and insane speed make it a nightmare for any target. Then comes the PAL-21, the real monster. This missile flees faster than Mach 5, has dual guidance systems, and can hit targets over 500 kilometers away. Once it's fired, intercepting it becomes nearly impossible. Now, imagine these weapons being fired from a stealth fighter like the J-20 Mighty Dragon. These jets fly fast and low, nearly invisible to radar, and then launch hypersonic missiles that reach their targets before anyone has time to react. By the time the SC sees the missile, it's already too late. Now, you may be asking, what about Aegis? What about the many anti-air weapons, radar systems, and electronic jamming tools that protect a carrier group? The reality is they're not made to stop hypersonic threats. Older missile defense systems depend on being able to track and hit targets with a few seconds off warning, but hypersonic missiles give a few milliseconds. They fly fast, low, and unpredictably, often below radar range, and too quickly for any interceptor to reach them in time. Their speed creates a glowing plasma cloud that blocks radar waves, making them nearly invisible until impact. In short, they're too fast, too smart, and too sudden. Suddenly, a $13 billion aircraft carrier begins to look like an easy target. And here's where things become even more serious. China isn't intentionally launching these missiles from the ground or from ships. They're launching from the sky. This means aircraft like the J-16, the J-20, and maybe even upcoming stealth bombers can fire hypersonic missiles from hundreds of kilometers away, well outside the detection range of a carrier strike group. These planes fly out, release their missiles, and disappear before anyone even knows they were there. Worse, they can fire multiple missiles in a short time. Picture 6 or more hypersonic weapons diving toward a single U.S. carrier at once. Even if Theos intercepts one or two, the rest will make it through. Just one impact is enough to stop all flight operations, throw the crew into chaos, and knock the carrier out of action. The cost, just a few $1 million. The damage, possibly billions. The message, you are no longer safe. The U.S. military is in fact, they're treating this like a full-on emergency. And it's not just about one attack. It's about what this all means. The entire military power around the globe is built around carrier strike groups. These carrier groups provide air support, enforce enemy zones, and show up whenever force is needed. But if China can make them useless with a few cheap, fast missiles, then America's whole sea power strategy could fall apart overnight. And her truly clever part? China doesn't even need to fight a full war. It just needs to make it too risky for the U.S. to even try. By keeping American carriers away using the threat of hypersonics, China builds a wall, a huge danger zone around its land and waters. This is known as anti-access area denial, or A2AD, in China is becoming a master AT. These missiles turn places like Dadawan Strait, South China Sea, and even parts of the Philippine Sea into deadly zones where any A ship could be hit in minutes. NOAA's Navy admiral once torched a carrier that costs $13 billion. In a place where a $5 million missile can destroy it with no warning. Yes, the U.S. is trying to respond. There's talk of laser weapons, hypersonic interceptors, and even new ideas for carrier operations, but progress is slow and funding is tied up in politics. Meanwhile, China already has these missiles ready to use, while us lawmakers are arguing. In Congress, Chinese J-20 fighters are being refueled and armed. For decades, aircraft carriers were the kings of the sea, floating air bases that could launch hundreds of aircraft, projecting gunstable force across the world. In every major conflict, they were Thephanol card, the weapon that but today, they may be turning into targets. All it takes, a Sony Chinese missile moving faster than sound, dodging defenses, and smashing Ginto, a billion-dollar ship before anyone can stop it. No pilots, no warnings, no scan chances. Right now, it's fair to say the age of carriers is ending, and the age of hypersonic warfare is just beginning. So, what do you think? Are America's aircraft carriers still thrillers of the oceans, or are they slowly becoming giant high-value targets just waiting for the next missile to strike? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're reading every single one. And if this video changed the way you think about modern naval power, hit that like button. Subscribe to Missile Lemons and send this to someone who still thinks Chevy Steel beats raw speed, because the next war won't be won by the biggest Navy. It'll be won by whoever gets there first. It's hardest and leaves nothing to strike back. This is Miss Lemons and Wall. See you in the next mission. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates on advanced technology, military power, and future warfare.